It is just pure, like, glazed over. He's in the pleasure machine. He's receiving the beeps and the boops. How did Bowblax find this video? Well, these are the huge thoughts, the huge torts. The huge torts that we're tinking tonight, okay? Huge torts on this stream tonight. He feels boxed in and disappointed where it's gone, and he escapes into being some beast, chimera, gender bent freak. So Pepsi made a video on Bowblax the other day. We actually watched it. We may watch it now, in fact. I think we'll do the full thing. We'll do the full saga again. This has been spread out across like kick streams and stuff, so we'll do the full saga now. The Pepsi vs. Bowblax. Full saga, okay? He's made an edit of my nose to be bigger in his latest thumbnail because he's just... He hasn't realized which side his bread is buttered, okay? Where was the Bowblax response? Oh, it was in the other stream, wasn't it? So we need that.
Anyway,
Hi, Pepsi.
Hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't edit your nose to be bigger. I can show you the... I'm going to share screen for you. I don't know if
I
you
just saw someone say it in spicy, so I'm repeating it.
Someone, and you're just repeating it. Okay, let me tell you what happened, okay? I asked Spice Chat, hey, do you guys have any good pictures of the live streamer Kuihman? And Ryzik sent me a few, but they were a bit old, so... And whose fault is this, after all? The newest pictures of you are 3 months. Maybe
yeah,
it's the
I know.
guy.
We're going to get it sorted. Trust, we'll get it sorted.
So yeah, I had no choice but to go 3 months ago. And what do I see? I see a video where you're like scratching your face. Right? And I think, oh wow, that looks like he's scratching. It does look like he's scratching tears away. It looks like he's crying. So what do? I use that. Right? I use that for the thumbnail. And now people comment, did you make his nose look big? No, what's happening is the shadow that your thumb is casting on your face is making it look like the sort of like wide, the edges of your nose are much further apart than they would otherwise be. So it's an unfortunate screenshot, but I didn't use a liquify filter on your face. I didn't use like a magnify filter on your face. And you're just lying about, I would never do that. I didn't
lie. I just repeated a baseless claim I heard uncritically.
Yeah, is that what you're going to say in court when I destroy you? Okay, whatever. Okay. Whatever. I don't really have much else to say. Okay, whatever. Oh, I tried getting Bowblax to call in, but he didn't want to. So that's the sad part about this. That's a shame. I don't know if you have any contacts, if you have any strings you can pull, I'd appreciate it. But you've already done more than enough. So.
Okay. Very passionate guy. Very passionate guy. As you can see, there's the photo.
Hey everyone, it's me, Purple.
Okay, so how to make a Bowblax video 2025. This was posted the other day. We did watch it on stream at some point. I can't remember if it was on Kick or YouTube or what. But Pepsi made a video explaining how if you were to make a Bowblax video, this is how you should do it, okay? That was the thesis of this video that he made. It's not a Bowblax video. If you're going to make a Bowblax video, this is how you do it. He explains it. So let's watch. Let's see. Let's follow the story here of how Bowblax ended up responding to this video.
Hey everyone, it's me, PurplePepsiGaming. Just here for a bit to talk to you about a video I'm not making. Earlier this week, people were talking to Aiden Underground, who's this underage streamer with a inflated sense of ego, and he likes talking about how much better he is than everyone else. In a particular chat forum, he talked about how he thought he could make a video on Bowblax better than another creator still, that other creator being Big Bungie. Now I don't want to give...
So very ballsy from Aiden to claim he can make a better Bowblax video than Big Bungie. I do not believe that to be true. I don't believe that to be true. I think Aiden is seething because Big Bungie is a based Nazi. I don't know, he's a Nazi. But Big Bungie's right wing. I think Aiden's seething. He doesn't like the edgy transphobic humor. Aiden's like, you can't say that about the eunuchs.
A very strong position on whether or not it would be possible for Aiden to make such a video. But seeing the conversation transpire, it sort of gave me time to sort of fantasize, I guess, to sort of imagine what kind of video I would make about Bowblax. And to be honest with you, I did attempt to make a video on Bowblax. I didn't end up actually making the video, however, due to my general lack of enthusiasm on the subject. And for that reason, it was hard for me to build up the sort of desire, build up the excitement to actually create the video. But since I put some thought into it, I wanted to give you, the person watching, an overall blueprint of how I would go ahead and make a video, given the current state of affairs and state of conversation regarding Bowblax. So let me just get started. I guess the first thing I want to point out is that every video on Bowblax is sort of a time capsule in of itself. You have to keep in mind that there's a person, Bowblax is a person, and they're going to keep doing things, and every time they do things, that sort of highlights a different angle on, you know, how to make fun of them, essentially. What I'm trying to get at by bringing this up is to say, essentially, you need to be aware of the current situation. And the current situation in this case is Bowblax has recently had his sort of a non-binary pornographic quote-unquote she-male OnlyFans and other accounts leaked, and after attempting to pretend that he wasn't the owner of these accounts, he sort of decided to play into it, posting pictures of him in bras and sort of gender non-conforming outfits. Additionally, he started streaming Sims 2, which is a very feminine game, and
so I was a bit skeptical at this point. I think Bowblax even points this out. The Sims 2 was re-released on Steam very recently. I think it was pure. I don't think it was an expression of being a woman that he was playing Sims 2. I think it was just because Sims 2 was re-released on Steam as part of like a collection thing with all the DLC. That's probably why Bowblax was on. And sort of gender non-conforming outfits. Additionally, he started streaming Sims 2, which is a very feminine game, and sort of like memeing into the idea that he is this cross-dressing freak, as people have been calling him. Now, from this point, I think with this being the current state of affairs regarding Bowblax, it's important to give a vague background of what's going on. If it was up to me, I would just give a vague idea that he hung out with Augie RFC and Nicholas Diorio on their streams, and that he had a career basically recapping drama. The only reason really to do that is because later on in this video, I'm going to encourage you to make fun of Nicholas Diorio and Augie RFC, basically. But yeah, for now, you just want to give a bit of a recap of his history on the internet. Pepsi hates Nick Diorio and Augie RFC, I've noticed. He was getting very, very angry. We'll see it when we look at his response to Bowblax's comment. He was getting very angry with what he saw as the fact that they've never considered that they could be sexual in a feminine way, so they can't talk to Bowblax about, you know, his sexuality and help him realize what's happening. He thinks that's a bit of a failing on them, from what I get together. Internet, 92 special 92 ornate. I wouldn't go into detail about the dramas with regards to the Boo stream or anything like that. And then you sort of want to introduce the current state where he, you know, accidentally revealed his female account. Now, I think it's important to focus on the stream where this sort of revelation happened, right? Okay. I'm sorry.
Because this is somewhere where there's a lot of interesting commentary to be made, which people usually miss just because it's so difficult to sit through these streams. If it was up to me, if I was the one making this video, I would focus on how poor Bowblax's gameplay in these streams are. He tends to play Pikmin and Sonic games. And in playing them, he sort of reveals something about himself. One way or another, you probably want to bring up the fact he's autistic and tie that to the very poor way he plays video games. I believe I've heard other people talk about how basically the way he plays video games, it's almost like he doesn't know what a video game is. It's like he just knows that there are pretty colors. He doesn't see it as like a challenge that he has to overcome. He doesn't see it as experience. He sees it. He sees himself as like a passive actor. It's like there's no connection between the joy that's happening in his brain from all the pretty pictures of Sonic doing epic backflips and the movements he's doing with his hands onto the controller. And that's something important to bring up, I guess, is that he's just very bad at all the games he plays, but he sees himself as sort of like an expert on them because he's dedicated a significant portion of his life to playing and talking about only them, leaving other more important parts of his own development behind in order to do so. So I would focus on the game stuff, and I would also say that just in general, his streams are very poor. You know, he uses desktop capture to do his streams. He does very annoying voices for like hour-long bits where he does a Christian voice, for example, which are insufferable to listen to. And just as a performer, he's not very skilled. He's not the kind of person who should really be a personality. And this is something that's always been more or less obvious as being the case, even when he was on people like OGRFC and Nicholas Diorio's channel. And that's why it's important to focus on these streams, is because you then want to sort of go on and say that this leak, which is kind of the consequence of his, you know, poor work ethic, poor production quality, these signs have always been there. And the fact that's now in the current state, and I don't really know how to bridge this gap, right? You want to go from talking about the streams where the sort of information about him wearing the dress was revealed, and also there was like some earlier sort of commentary about possible dress pictures of him existing, which you might want to rope in. But I don't know how to bridge a gap between talking about that into talking about sort of the way people are reacting to it, right? What people that used to be connected to him, used to sort of hang out with him and see him as an alright guy, are, you know, now mocking him for this dress stuff. I think it's important to talk about the second part, though. If you're not aware, people like Augie RFC and Nick Diorio, they used to hang out with him all the time. They used to show off all this stuff, and now they're relentlessly mocking him on the internet. And it's in a way which comes off as hypocritical to me, because it's not even that hypocritical, it's that short-sighted. Because there are a lot of things to make sort of rude remarks about Bowblax on, such as his quote-unquote backstabby behavior. He's often found to, you know, say one thing to somebody in private and another thing in public, and go back and forth, and apparently like leak DMs, things like that. It's one thing to talk about that, but these creators who backed him up for years on end, not only were they more than okay with that behavior when it benefited them, but they want to rope in other behaviors that, while they might be easier to mock, aren't in of themselves negative behaviors. One example of this is when they make fun of Bowblax for playing Sims 2, or Sonic, or Pikmin. These are all fine games. It's not about the games he's playing. It's not about the games Bowblax is playing. It's about the way in which he plays them. And that's a huge issue with a lot of the coverage here. I would also like to bring up, you know, people who are mocking Bowblax for their looks. I think
did we miss the keys jangling point?
Bring up that while, yes, of course, Bowblax, there's obviously like a sexual element.
Did I miss the keys jangling
point? Really
the keys jangling point is really, it's really vital, really important. Obviously, that's stolen from me. Obviously, Pepsi stole that point from me. But that is really vital. The way Bowblax engages with Sonic, the way he just sort of sits there, he's absorbing the vibe of the anthropomorphic characters, and he's absorbing the sensory information coming from, you know, the rings, the boost, the map, the music, and that's what provides him the like pleasure. You know, that's all that gives him the pleasure. He doesn't actually see it as like a challenge or something to be completed or done to a high level. He doesn't see like even a deeper engagement with like the composition of all the elements. It is just pure, like, glazed over. He's in the pleasure machine. He's receiving the beeps and the boops.
Public display of the sexual element, which makes what he's doing gross.
Pepsi, you stole this whole point from me.
To point out that the people making fun of him are either very obese themselves, or, you know, just they look like losers. They're not exactly talking from a high position of aesthetic authority, and I think that's very important to bring up. If I was you, I would go on I don't know if you'd call it a tangent. I'd do like a quote-unquote bit. If you know, like the Nostalgia Critic used to do like bits, quote-unquote, and I would do a bit probably where I in detail describe viscerally an image of Nicholas Diorio jerking off, and I would probably bring up rhetorical questions like, what's Nicholas Diorio into? Is he into DDLG? Is he into spanking? Does he like seeing women get spanked? Does that get his hog hard?
I mean, if you're going to enjoy kids' games, you should enjoy them in a more, you know, mature way, I think, you know? If you're going to play Sonic, you should at least be playing it to try and get good times. To try and play it, like, well, you know? You shouldn't be playing Sonic at 27 to just, like, Like, oh yeah, Sonic's so cute, so cute and funny. It's like, whatever Bowblax thinks of this shit, that's not okay. That's like a sign of developmental issues.
His hog would be a derogatory term for his penis. But the idea is to like bring up the fact that, you know, people are sexual, you know, and obviously the people making fun of him have their own things, and you might say, and they might say, oh, well, we don't bring it up public, but that's when I would sort of take a bit of a turn into the particular thing that Bowblax is doing in public, which is this cross-dressing thing. Now, this is a bit of a difficult subject to sort of end your video on, but it is like the most important part, because you have to sort of like cut through a couple of weeds that are in the way. One is the whole transgender thing, which people often conflate with cross-dressing stuff, including Bowblax himself. So you have to sort of draw and sort of point at the fact that Bowblax is kind of like an AGP person who has a cross-dressing fetish, right? Are saying,
yeah, the thing you really gotta think about with Bowblax is just like this tick-headed idiot. You guys agree?
he's like non-binary or whatever. You're just putting that aside, and you're focusing instead on the fact that, you know, cross-dressing and AGP, these are really cool and epic things. And an example of them being cool and epic,
very cool and epic
you know, if I was going to make this video, I would bring up Smet. I think he's like a really epic AGP vlog, cross-dressing blog, and he's also somebody who has facial hair, but who obviously looks, you know, very, very attractive and very beautiful in a dress, and who, you know, is able to sort of embody this part of his life in a very, in a way, the way I see it, based on his interactions with him and his partner,
don't make fun of Pepsi,
in a very healthy way.
I don't
Another
care.
example I would bring up
I don't care.
is Oliver Axel, I believe this is his name, who has this very good video about, and this might be a bit difficult to do because it's almost like you have to plagiarize the video because it's like a video essay. But he basically has a video talking about how the only way men can really experience feeling like sexually wanted is to cross-dress, or it's one of the main ways they can do it.
Watch
so
this
that's like
Owen Earl video.
For example, I would bring up is Oliver Axel, I believe this is his name, who has this very good video about, and this might be a bit difficult to do because it's almost like you have to plagiarize the video because it's like a video essay. But he basically has a video talking about how...
Listening to this guy is like listening to a blacksmith work. Dude. Ding.
The ting goes scraw.
Ding. Thank you for the €5, Gucci. Thank you.
The only way men can really experience feeling like sexually wanted is to cross-dress, or it's one of the main ways they can do it. And so that's like one of the reasons somebody might feel the desire to sort of explore that area. And that's, you know, you might say it's not ideal, but, you know, in the current setup of the world, how else are you going to do it, right? And, you know, this is really why I didn't want to make this part of the video in particular. It's because it's very hard to make this point without almost plagiarizing the entire Oliver Axel video, and I don't want to do that. But hopefully you know, maybe you can read a Judith Butler book, maybe you personally are a cross-dresser, the person who's going to use this blueprint, and you can talk about your personal experience. That might be helpful. So just to conclude this blueprint, you want to start with the history of Bowblax. You want to see how the leak happened. You want to say what the sort of scenario of the leak says about Bowblax as a person. You want to say what the scenario of the...
Wait, guys, wait. Just on that Invincible conversation earlier about the animation studio. Thank you, Civ fans. This is from the official Civ account.
Thank you, Civ fans.
Thank you, Civ fans. Y'all are the best fans in gaming.
Thank you, Civ fans. You're the best.
Thank you, Civ fans. You are the best fans in gaming. Thank you so much.
Hey, Civ fans. Big thank you from the audio team.
Thank you, Civ fans, for continuing to be the best fans in gaming, and we really hope you continue to take one more turn.
Thank you for playing Civilization 7.
Thank you, Civ fans.
Thank you.
Thank you, Civ fans. The launch of Civ 7 is here. We absolutely cannot wait for you to experience
this is why the UI sucks.
So enjoy.
I mean, people are saying this is why it's shit, but I don't think Civ 7's that bad at all. I actually quite enjoy it.
The leak says about the people who hung out with Bowblax, and why it's a bit hypocritical and, you know, pathetic of them to have hung out with him so long. And it sort of points at them being really more self-interested than really caring about the situation at all. And then you want to sort of move on to say that given the leak and everything, what elements of it are, you know, actually interesting to think about, which in my opinion are...
Yeah, I've really liked it, guys. That it's super overhated. I get that it's like unfinished. It's like unfinished. It's buggy. The UI is rough. It's a AAA release. It's unfinished. Well, I like it. It's fun. You have like 5 hours in it? That's just not true. I have 28 hours in it.
The sort of the whole cross-dressing angle. And yeah, that's how I would make this video. Sorry, I didn't actually make the video. Ideally, obviously, we're watching a video of this that I made. But I just couldn't...
Solus Infernum is good, but it's like way simple compared to Civ. Like, there's way less shit going on. Way less units, way less complexity. But it is fun. It's fun to play. It's way better. Solus Infernum is way better to play multiplayer. Civ multiplayer kind of fucking sucks a lot of the time. It takes ages. People get bored. It's a nightmare. Solus Infernum is like way quicker, way simpler. If you want to play it, multiplayer is way better.
Really have that much investment in the Bowblax situation. I also, you know, I just it's
okay. So that's the end of the video. So Bowblax found this video. How did Bowblax find this video? Well, the other day, me and Pepsi were sat in Spicy VC. I told him to go live on his YouTube channel, but he couldn't because he can't stream on weekdays. Figure out why. So he couldn't, or weekends rather. He couldn't stream. So he couldn't stream. So he came into VC. And he was like, how do I get Bowblax to see, or how do I get Nick Diorio to see my Bowblax video? How do I get Nick Diorio to see my Bowblax video? And I basically said to post it on the Clip Live subreddit. So that's what he did. He posted on the Clip Live subreddit. I'm guessing Bowblax still checks there, or name searches or something. And so we saw the video and commented on it. Alex Gekmo has even replied. But we're going to watch Pepsi respond to this comment.
Also, I mean, I saw commitments here. I don't know if he wants to have the debates now. You know, I just should mention, though, I have literally in an hour.
Wait, you don't even cover it here, do you? I have to go, like, all the way over here, I think.
Spoke, right? It sounds like or in regards to me, make a good and thoughtful video. Here are my replies. My Instagram posts...
I'm sorry about what is happening. We're watching Pepsi stream responding to Bowblax's comment on his video.
Be true at first. So, very good and thoughtful video. Here are my replies. My Instagram posts were attempts to showcase my gender in a non-sexual way. Ideally, I want to come out in a dedicated YouTube video and talk in depth about it. But since it got revealed through me panic tweeting, I didn't get an opportunity to explain what non-binary means in regards to me. Making it kind of random. You know, I'll add some commentary. I'm pretty sure when he says panic tweeting, is he talking about like when he was DMing Nicholas Diorio, or was it like, I'm not entirely sure what he means by that. When my work in progress OnlyFans got leaked, it painted my gender in a sexual light that I didn't intend, which he meant to say intend, and now I look stupid because it sounds like I misspoke, right? It sounds like Pepsi messing up his words. No, he mistyped and wrote intent. I didn't intend to show publicly outside of the OF, which would have been completely secret and disconnected from Bowblax. Obviously, my gender influences my sexual preferences and expression, just like how being a man or woman influences.
Can you actually display your gender in a non-sexual way? Hmm. Big Better Man news, the monkey fighting scenes on Twitter. We'll cover it on Kick.
This is how they express themselves sexually. But my gender identity isn't built...
Yeah, it depends how pedantic and like abstract you want to be about it. In like a literal, like blunt way, yeah, you can. But then it's like, is gender ever actually divorced from sexuality? Because sexuality is like... Because gender obviously arises from sex, and the whole point of sex is that, you know, the fact that there's two sexes that can reproduce and all that shit, right? So, I mean, if you want to be, like, giga autistic about it, I mean, you could probably make an argument that there's no way to divorce gender from a sexual presentation, but
on sexual desires. Rather, I discovered more about my gender identity when I expanded my local offline social circle. Anyways, nobody really needs to know this, but half of the personal shit is exposed anyways, and talked about in this video. So I'm in a weird position where I kind of feel like I had to overshare here, lol. As for playing Sims 2, it's a childhood game of mine. I've streamed it years ago, and talked about it multiple times in years past. It being a game mostly played by women is coincidence. I'm playing it now because the game released on Steam a couple of weeks ago. That's true, by the way. There's like a legacy collection. Shut up, Tony! Fuck you! Okay? No, you're getting timed out. You're getting timed out, Buster. You're getting put user in timeout 5 minutes. How's that for someone who can't talk? You can't say shit for shit. How's that fucking feel? You fucking moron.
The point is that gender is, in some way, gender is just linked to sex. Gender is the expression of sex in society. That's what gender is, right? It's like the social expression of sex. So is that ever truly non-sexual? I mean, in like the most blunt way that we use sexual, no, it's not always sexual, obviously. Just a woman wearing women's clothes, normal, like standard, modest women's clothes. That's not sexual in the way we think of sexual. But if you're like talking about like the concepts, it's like, is it ever actually divorced from sexuality?
I guess it's not that you're a moron, so you're an asshole. But whatever. Your commentary on my streams and gameplay was very enlightening. Mind you, I haven't watched any Bowblax video outside of Tom Dark and a couple of Nick's first few videos, but the points you brought up are genuinely things I've never had told to me, even when I asked for advice on how to grow my streaming audience from people like Nick or Augie. I mean, I believe that Nick or Augie, those guys are like assholes, and they wouldn't give you any good advice because they're losers, right? They don't have, like, you would never want to.
Well, these are the huge thoughts, the huge torts that we're thinking tonight. Okay. Huge thoughts on this stream tonight.
Hang out with these people. Like, I think I was watching Kuihman's kick stream, right? And Nick was talking about how, like, he has a tattoo on his leg of the letter E or something, because, oh, dude, frat days were crazy. He's literally like a fat frat bro retard. And like, people expect this guy to be, like, decent to hang out with. Yeah, exactly. They want him as a pedigree, and that's, like, you could say,
just like seething about Nick being, like, a frat bro or something here. I didn't even hear that bit of the stream. Nick was a frat bro.
Want to hang out with these people. Like, I think I was watching Kuihman's kick stream, right? And Nick was talking about how, like, he has a tattoo on his leg of the letter E or something, because, oh, dude, frat days were crazy. He's literally like a fat.
I feel like the better angles to take here is it would be better for you to target, like, the idea that he's presenting himself as a frat bro when really he's a loser. That's really the... Like, I don't think attacking him as a frat bro is the tact here, Pepsi. I think it's about, you should target the idea that he's like a loser. He's like a clinger on or something.
Frat bro retard. And like, people expect this guy to be, like, decent to hang out with. Yeah, exactly. They want him as a pedigree, and that's, like, you could say, well, I mean, Bowblax would know. Well, no, man. It's like, obviously, it's Bowblax's responsibility to deal with that, right? But the idea that fucking...
Like, he's like the fat guy that they all laugh at in the frat. Like, if you wanted to go for Nick on the frat angle, it would be like, he's like the fat guy that they all laugh at in the frat. You would got that. They probably got him to get the tattoo to make fun of him, and he refers back to it like he was having this crazy time in college. That's the angle you would take if you wanted to go at this.
Frat bro retard. And like, people expect this guy to be, like, decent to hang out with. Yeah, exactly. They want him as a pedigree, and that's, like, you could say, well, I mean, Bowblax would know. Well, no, man. It's like, obviously, it's Bowblax's responsibility to deal with that, right? But the idea that fucking...
What do you mean, Jesus Christ, man? What do you mean?
Nick and Augie are going to pretend that they've been slighted. Oh, you were leaking to King of Nothing. You were fucking using this guy as a fucking toy, you fucking loser. But nobody should fucking feel an ounce of sympathy for either of you. Especially Nick. I don't really follow Augie.
I'm just coaching this small creator. He was trying to talk shit on Nick the Oreo. I'm just helping him.
Because he's boring, so I don't know what he said about the situation. But I'm sure it's a similar thing. it's just so pathetic the way they're like, yeah, you leaked my DMs. What do you want me to do? Of course I'm going to cover him. It's like, no, man, you just fucking are an asshole to this guy because it's part of your fucking, developmental experience to be in like this loser frat culture where like being a piece of shit is like cool. And you're the fat one, but oh, you can handle being called fat, right, Nick? Oh, you don't even care.
Okay, no, this is better. This is more along the track. You're on the right lines here.
Developmental experience to be in like this loser frat culture where like being a piece of shit is like cool. And you're the fat one, but oh, you can handle being called fat, right, Nick? Oh, you don't even care if people call you a fat, disgusting slob loser, right? So if people are allowed to make fun of you for something you don't care about, then you can be an asshole. Anyway, that's like, not to like slant my position. I do have criticisms of Bowblax, so I'm trying to get through the comment before
I guess Pepsi's saying it happened. I didn't hear it myself, but I guess it happened during the Destiny, Ryan Beard Destiny nuke reaction, because that's the only Kick stream, next stream I watched on Kick recently. So
it's like cool, and you're the fat one, but oh, you can handle being called fat, right, Nick? Oh, you don't even care if people call you a fat, disgusting slob loser, right? So if people are allowed to make fun of you for something you don't care about, then you can be an asshole. Anyway, that's like, not to like slant my position. I do have criticisms of Bowblax, so I'm trying to get through the comment before I criticize him specifically. Now let's see. What was I? Yeah, from Nicaragua. I'm sorry if it came off as if I overbrag about being good at video games. I don't think I'm great at video games. I just think I'm very knowledgeable about them and the video game industry from a hobby perspective. Which I don't know why I would say industry from a hobby perspective. Does that mean that like you're like a junior game developer? Because that's what that sounds like. I think it means... And the video.
That's true. That is true. That sounds like he does stuff in the video game industry as a hobby. But that's not what Bowblax does. That's not what he does at all. But when Bowblax says he knows about the video game industry from a hobby perspective, he means he's a consumer. He buys Sonic plushies. That's what he means.
The video game culture from a hobby perspective, I don't really know. Video game. It was like, I genuinely have fun with video games, even if I'm failing and playing poorly. I never thought that it was a normal or a wrong way to enjoy a video game. As for the whole being a streamer personality thing, and it being horrible in your opinion, which I don't remember, this I am a bit confused. I don't really know what this means. Like, as for the whole being a streamer personality thing and it being horrible, I think he means, as for my, which is say Bowblax's streamer personality being horrible. Sorry to hear that, Mrao. Nobody ever told, and I think that's what he's saying. He's saying his person, because I don't think I said streamers in general having streamer personalities is horrible. I don't think I said that in the video, or maybe I misspoke, but I'm not sure. Nobody ever told me it was bad. Many people praised me for it and thought it was funny. Maybe sarcasm, impossible to tell via text. I mean, that's like a bit telling there. That's a bit of a telling statement that he says as well. I've had fun doing it, and that's why I continued. I did this all on my side channel to not let it ruin what the Bowblax channel is. Which is an
the big drama Bowblax or other stuff. I'm gonna tell you something crazy here. Okay, fine. If I had something that was actually big drama, I would probably just put that in the title, because whatever the big drama is would be more appealing than the vague statement, big drama. So I wouldn't be expecting too much from this stream. I'm going to be real.
/news channel. I am not trying to shove a disliked niche internet personality bit down anyone's throats. If you just like the Bowblax Twitter drama stuff, sub to the main channel and ignore the other stuff. I never thought that one would detract from the other. Okay, now I wish I wrote notes on. I have notes about Stop Killing Games. I have notes about my job interview, which I have in like less than an hour. I don't have any notes about Bowblax, but I'll try addressing all his points. I guess I'll start from the bottom up. So as far as this thing that he's talking about here, about like streamer personality being horrible, I mean, I did say that he's a very grating. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Let's see, maybe I think it's here. And say that this leak, which is kind of the consequence of his, poor work ethic, poor production quality, these signs have always been there. And the fact that's now in the current state, and I don't really know how to bridge this gap, right? You want to go from talking about the streams where there's sort of information about when the dress was revealed, and also there was like some earlier sort of commentary about possible dress pictures existing, which you might want to open. But I don't know how to bridge the gap between talking about that into talking about sort of the way people are reacting to it, right? What people that used to be connected to him used to sort of hang out with him. Okay, I don't really remember. I think I said something along the lines of, his very annoying stream persona where he screams and stuff. And I know even Kuihman says stuff like this. But basically
Kuihman.
The idea is that like
awesome.
I don't know what he's. I don't think that I made the criticism that he's trying to shove his stream persona down people's throats. I mean, I do have a criticism of him, and it's like he's sort of avoiding his like actual job to do this thing, which is similar to his job, and that's YouTube related, but he doesn't actually make any, money out of it, and he's sort of like ignoring doing the Bowblax, reading the sweet stuff. But I don't even bring that up. I think in my video, I didn't really bring up the idea that, oh, why aren't you reading tweets? Why aren't you doing your Bowblax? I don't really care about that. I didn't bring it up in my video, so I'm not sure why he's mentioning it like I said it. I did sort of as well, and to go back to like
good point. Bowblax is just procrastination. Mayo Monkey streams are pure procrastination for Bobby. Okay, all this dress stuff, all this freak gender shit. This is just to escape responsibility. It's all just weird sexual escapism to get out of the pressures of his life. He feels boxed in and disappointed where it's gone, and he escapes into being some beast, chimera, gender bent freak.
Where he talks about my streams, his streams gameplay. So basically what I say is that, and I use the jangling keys emoji, is that sort of like he doesn't know how to play video games, and he sort of like plays them for the beeps and boops. Now in this comment he says, I think I'm very large about them. I generally have fun with video games even if I'm playing poorly. I didn't say anything about, oh, you're enjoying them, but you're not even good at them.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's not about him being bad at the game. It's not about him playing the game badly. It's about him not engaging with the game. He doesn't actually he doesn't actually play the game. He is just experiencing the sensory output of the game. It's just like the beeps and the boops. That's all it is. It's not an actual engagement with what he's playing.
I think and I brought this up, right? I say he plays The Sims, Pikmin, and Sonic. These are like childhood games. I think the fact that he only really focuses on like kids games, basically, or games that are sequels to ones played as kid, I think that reflects the fact that like what he gets out of the video game is a combination of like, obviously there's a bit of nostalgia, and it's like he's familiar with it. It's not like he's seeking out, for Pikmin, it's not like he's seeking out like RTSs, or for Sonic, it's not like he's seeking out like, I don't know, other like, time-based platformers or whatever, or for Sims. I mean, The Sims is whatever. I guess it's not like he's playing RimWorld, I guess, but it's just the way that he interfaces with games and the way he talks about them, where it's like, it's almost like a lore thing, right? It's like reading Wikipedia, where he's like, yeah, this red Pikmin over here, he's actually one of the few red. I don't know why I pulled up Wikipedia.
I think the reason why Bowblax's video game knowledge, his video game engagement seems so much like a wiki, is he's getting a lot of the information not from engaging with the game, but from like the Did You Know Gaming channel on YouTube and like Nintendo YouTubers. Like who's the Nintendo YouTuber he really likes? But yeah, like it is. I'm trying to come up with names, but I can't even think of any of the Nintendo YouTuber names anymore. I'm trying so hard to grasp onto them. Peanut Butter Gamer. Yes, exactly. Yep, great one. Great one. I don't know Chadtronic. Scott the Was. Yeah, Scott the Was. Chugga Conroy. Yeah. You know the vibe. He's getting it all from stuff like that. He's not actually getting the information from the games. So he just sort of vacantly plays them and then rattles off facts. It's not like an actual understanding or appreciation for what he's claiming to like.
Yeah, but this red Pikmin is actually one of the few ones for like 4 levels, so it's very important to get this Pikmin. It's like he doesn't. I don't know. It's just it's very. It's like if you're playing, it's sort of like he. I want to say he hyperfixates on them and then goes in the auto screen. I don't even know if it's an issue per se. It's more so telling of his overall autistic persona. So maybe it's fair. Maybe it's fair that I shouldn't have brought it. I brought it up because it annoys me. And it seems like he's sort of limiting himself from enjoying games more. And it's almost like, on a personal level, I wonder if he understands why he enjoys the game, right? Like when Bowblax plays the game, does he understand that he's like, does he understand why he's enjoying that game? And from his comment here, he says, "Oh, I'm knowledgeable about it. And I just enjoy even if I fail." It doesn't seem like he's done like any sort of he doesn't have any self-awareness about the fact that he plays like games that he liked when he was a kid and there's probably some element to that.
Very
and
true.
It's like the way, and it is possible to enjoy a game, quote unquote, incorrectly or at least differently, right? It's like it's doable. It's like it's like I'm not sure. I mean, it's hard for. I'm not sure if you guys have had this experience, but if you're like, I don't know, let's say you're like procrastinating from studying for an exam, right? And you're like playing Hearthstone or whatever. It's like you're not really interfacing with the game properly. You're just sort of like playing the deck or whatever, like on autopilot, trying to ignore the fact that you have like an exam. And that's like one example of how you can be playing a video game, but not really.
Okay, I don't think that's a good example because Hearthstone, you do just kind of play on autopilot. You do just select the deck, put it together, and then just play it repeatedly until you get into the higher ranks. That is how you play Hearthstone, so it's not a good example there. But you can imagine Bowblax having like a deadline. He's got to do an exam, and he boots up Sonic, and he's just like glazed over, thinking about the exam, ruminating on the exam, but he's playing the game to like a subpar level, just sort of like floating through each map. You can do a lot of analysis on a turn-by-turn basis, especially for aggro decks. Sure. Do you really lose that analysis when you're just like procrastinating playing it? I feel like most of it is just like you look at what's there and you kind of know what your best move is.
Be experiencing it in a meaningful way, and I think for Bowblax there's a similar thing here where it's like he's just fixated on, wow, this reminds me of when I was younger playing Sonic Adventure 2 or stuff like that. Yeah, I guess it is a type of escapism, but it's like, I don't know, it's escapism. It's like when the escapism is required, right? Because obviously, if you're just watching a movie and you like it, it's like an escapism because you're in the world of the movie. But it's like when that's the main, I guess, appeal. That's when it sort of becomes an issue, or not an issue, but it becomes like I don't know. That's why I was bringing up. As far as his personality, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find. It's like a Bowblax the Sims stream, right? So Bowblax Instagram Sims 2, and I think there's an archive. Yeah, I keep getting this video recommended. She is very attractive, but I don't really care about Sims 2 corruption. Why is it's not showing Bowblax at all? Bowblax, you have awful SEO, man. Let me just say. Bowblax Sims 2. Bowblax. Yeah.
But the point is, there are different types of escapism, Spinal BJ. There's like escapism where it is purely like there's escapism where it's like you actually enjoy the thing, you have an appreciation for it, you're interested, you like all the components of it, and you just want to know more, and you want to be more invested, and it's just so cool. And then there's escapism where it's like, my life's falling apart, I need to ignore it by just looking at this game. You know?
I'm not gonna find it. I'm not gonna find it, guys. I'm gonna find. Is it this? No, this is just some.
And you're not in that second one. You're not actually really engaging with anything. You're just like fucking staring at lights and colors.
Weird, dumb video. Look at how. Look at OGRFC. Okay, let's look at OGR. It's not letting me also play the video. Let's look at his stupid face. Look at how this guy thinks he has any fucking, and this fucking moron who doesn't even know how to wear glasses properly. They didn't have any fucking position to criticize Bowblax on, but whatever. I can't find his stream if you guys have it. But basically, in the stream, he's playing Sims 2, and he's sort of like screaming at inopportune moments. He's like, it's like his Sims aren't doing what he wants to. He goes like, "Oh, why aren't you doing this?" Oh, and it's sort of like it's a put-on performance, right? And I think it's very obnoxious because it's like he's sort of like trying to get along with a group. It's like he's overdoing a bit, basically. I have a Discord. Oh, I don't have a Discord server, right? Well, maybe, and whatever. And I don't know. I don't really. If I could talk to him on an individual level, what would I say? I'd say that like the sort of way you act isn't a genuine reflection of how you're feeling or what you're thinking or a desire that you have to share something. I would say what you're doing instead is you're.
Dude, why is Pixie doing this? Why is Pixie fighting with Beards and Beardly on Twitter? Like, what is the point? What do you gain from that? Okay.
acting in a way that in the past has given you like a positive reinforcement with like people laughing or getting, you know, reactions in chats, and you're just imitating that. It doesn't actually have anything to do with what you think, you know, internally about the situation. That's what I would say to him, and I would wonder, I would want him to like reflect on that, or would ask him if he agrees or whatever. That's what I would do if I was talking to Bowblax. And obviously everyone does this to a certain extent, right? They see what chat does, they know, like, oh, chat really likes when I did this, like, this bit, I'm gonna do it again. But the way Bowblax does it, it's always, that's his entire stream, basically. I also want to criticize him as far as his persona when he talks about, when he sort of, like, tries, quote-unquote, owning what he did, right? He's like, yeah, I know, oh, yeah, you know, haha, you people saw me address, teehee. But it's like, it almost like, or when he, oh yeah, I swear
all that is so fucked up. Well, it's like, I mean, these are the guys that just like scream rape at women in video games. Like they don't give a fuck. Obviously, I just don't know why you would even engage, especially not if you're gonna do this, where you just like fall for bait. Like she thought she was like owning him.
He does this thing where it's like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm so, but it's like, is that a genuine reflection of how you feel? It obviously isn't, right? We can see from the fact that you're still sort of, I mean, not in my comments per se, but in other comments, I know you're lying about how those conversations went, or you're denying the fact the man, she, he account existed. That is obviously not in your control, right? There is a thing that happened, and you're like basically being dishonest, right? You're lying, you're pretending that you're like sort of, oh yeah, it's all according to plan. Yeah, I'm just chill with it, I'm riding the wave, but you're not, right? And you might say, well, what Pepsi? You expect Bowblax to spurg out? You expect him to spurg out? Yeah, his Christian impression is very disgusting to me. I had to skip that stream. But it's like, what Pepsi, you want Bowblax to spurg out? No, I just want him to be like emotionally honest. Funnily enough, I think in a way Mr. Girl is, right? Like if you ever see Mr. Girl talk about this stuff, where it's like, you know, you're sort of like trying to let the actual person understand what you are, and you're being a people pleaser. You know, if I could somehow force Mr. Girl, how I stopped being a people pleaser. If I could force Bowblax to watch one video.
It's very true. Bowblax is not very emotionally honest. It is all just a performance.
What the fuck? If I could... Grr. How I learned to stop being a people pleaser. Yeah, if I could make... No, that's not Mr. Girl's website.
Okay, we get...
This one, it's this... My eyes are glazing over. I can't find anything. I'm trapped in a prison of my own sight.
Oh, Aiden's seething in chat after getting absolutely raped yesterday. Very sad to see. Very sad to see. The seething a day later. After totally walking back his position, totally folding. Realizing that he was still in the RFC house. Realizing that he still had shackled the RFC plantation, still had shackled thinking. Going after porn because he's been told that sex is so evil and scary, like Augie RFC. Very sad to see. Very sad to see. Maybe one day Aiden will get a girlfriend and get past this. I'm sorry for attacking your uncle's business.
God, come, where is it, man? What the fuck? All right, now let me just take a deep breath. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this video. If I could make Bowblax watch one video,
being a people pleaser is a waste. By definition, you're putting other people's needs and priorities above your own for the either to avoid discomfort or to try to get something back or some recognition or them liking you or something that is never going to come. It's never going to happen. They're just going to cast you aside like a rotten banana peel. And then one day you get to be a 35-year-old.
Okay, Pepsi's just watching Mr. Girl. Let's skip through that.
Once described
entranced by it, but wait, where's my? Did I leave my fucking? Oh, of course I did. It's like burn the bridges, because whenever he talks to people, even when he was on that call with Chud, and Kuihman said, "Are you gonna wear the dress, Bowblax?" Even when he said that, he was like being he was like, haha, yeah, he was like trying to get along. He wasn't being open and honest with his emotions, which is what makes it so funny. That's of course Bowblax hates Mr. Girl, is that he'll never take the advice from that video. He needs to find it on his own, basically, which is a bit upsetting. But
mate, I don't like doing Mr. Girl videos on YouTube because they feel pretty risky. But I might do on Kick later. We might watch How I Learned Stop Being People Pleaser. Just another teaser for the kick stream that will probably happen later tonight. Make sure you're there, guys. Kick the comments for Kuihman live. Kick the comments for Kuihman live. Kick the comments for Kuihman live.
Fundamentally, I think that's the issue I have with Bowblax's stream personality, is that he's doing things for the reaction because he knows, because of what he expects the reaction of other people to be, not because he's actually expressing anything authentic. And that's something that's a bit gross about his whole non-binary thing, right? Is that he expects us to, after having a lifetime basically of being on like streams or whatever, where he's like a people pleaser, right? He's not being honest. For some reason, we're meant to see his non-binary stuff as him finally actually being honest. No, man, you haven't shown in any real way that you have any propensity for telling the truth in your words. So why would we believe your gender behavior?
Very true.
It's like, let me just get through the gender stuff, right? So he goes.
I think is this where Pepsi talks about the honesty about it?
The very first paragraph about his OnlyFans stuff and how it relates to non-binary stuff. So I guess I should give a strong stance when I think about non-binary people. And my strong stance is it depends on the type of non-binary person. I think there's like an umbrella of different kinds of people. Okay,
we're getting a strong stance on non-binary people from Pepsi. Great. I'm glad he's taking a position on this.
For AMABs and AFABs, or men and women, reversed, they probably have different like genres of non-binary, right? So I don't want to like make generalizations on non-binary people for what like women who become non-binary are, because I think those aren't going to be the same ones as with guys, and I'm sure there are different branches of men and women. I'm sure there's like butch lesbians or whatever, but that maybe say they're non-binary. But then there's people like, I don't know, Lumiru, who cut their breasts off and they're like more neutral, and then there's like more feminine people, like the ones you see on TikTok. Anyway, the point is, non-binary, it doesn't really mean anything. It's like not really.
What genres of non-binary people are you feeling? I'm feeling for they fabs. There's like autistic women, and women who were CSA'd, and autistic women who are CSA'd. That's like the three genres of non-binary women, I think. For male non-binaries, I think there's autistic men. But then there's also like a more normal type of non-binary guy who, while being, it's more like a modern version of the male feminist, where it's sort of like they adopt the non-binary aesthetic for the sake of essentially being a wolf in sheep's clothing, being unthreatening, being part of the group almost. Yeah, like Low in the Box a little, like Low in the Box, wearing black nail polish or whatever. Little circular glasses. That sort of vibe, Are there any? I'm trying to think of the other genres of. Bowblax obviously just autistic dude. That's his genre of non-binary. I don't know. Are there other genres? It's mostly autistic, guys.
A relevant way of analyzing. It's not really a relevant way of analyzing Bowblax because it's such a wide swath of different people. Now, you could analyze being non-binary and say, oh, there's this group of types of people, this group of types of people. But I'll just tell you what, Bowblax is very obviously the sort of AGP.
Because I feel like male non-binaries are much less common. It's usually MTF. Male non-binaries are not very common. They're either going to be, they either go. The AGP stuff either goes, if they're going to actually commit to it in any way, they either go MTF or they go femboy. Right? They don't tend to go into middle gender, third gender, whatever stuff. That doesn't tend to be the case for AGP. For males who get some kind of satisfaction from being non-birth gender.
One. He's right. He's like enjoys putting on a dress. And it's like Smet, at least Smet, right? At least Smet is honest about this, right? That's what I like about Smet. There's this video and another one. It's like he knows what he is. He isn't sitting there like, no, I'm exploring my gender identity. You know, he understands that he gets like a certain feeling from dressing up that way. And to be fair to people who say, oh, it's not a sexual thing, it is in essence a sexual thing, but it is a weird sexual thing, right? Like it's like this other video, the Owen Earl video, which I want Kuihman to watch, but he won't do it because he is afraid of learning about himself, I think. It sort of goes into the idea that it's like it's feeling sexual in a feminine way, right? So that's why somebody like Bowblax would say that, my gender stuff isn't related to my sexual stuff per se. You know, my gender identity isn't, except for the way it's influenced here, right? He said in the second paragraph, it's influenced to say any man is influenced by being a man with regards to their sexual stuff, right? It's not per se gender euphoria, right? Just calling it gender euphoria, I think like there are like probably trans people who have that element to it, but it's how if you. And this is just an opinion I have on emotions, right? If you're feeling an emotion, how do you know what that emotion is, right? We all have to sort of guess pretty much, and there's like more detail to it, and obviously you compare your experiences to others, but it's especially difficult if you're an autistic person, right? Or you have some other developmental issues.
Very true.
To sort of guess what your emotions are compared to others. So how would Bowblax know if what he's feeling is quote unquote gender euphoria, or if it's a sort of feeling sexually aroused in a feminine way, pretty much, right? It's like the answer is that it would be very easy to mix those two up, and tragically in the modern world of the internet, it's hard. There isn't really many people who talk about the AGP stuff.
AGP is autogynephilia. It is the idea that there are guys who are sexually aroused by the idea of himself as a woman.
Honestly, right? So it's very possible that he sort of had this feeling, maybe even when he was younger, right? Maybe he like wore a sister dress or whatever. I think he said he did that, and he felt this feeling. He didn't really have a word for it, but now he sees all this discourse about non-binary or trans people, whatever, and he says, "Oh, that must be it." But I would say, based on his behavior, based on the way he sort of even says he wants to look, I would say it's more likely that it's is this sort of like sort of AGP feeling that he's not really understanding properly. And you can have arguments like, oh, it's gross, it's icky, whatever. There are like losers like, OKRFC and Nicholas Diorio, which will make, oh, it's icky degenerate. Meanwhile, he looks like a fucking, so I don't know, like concentration camp guy victim. OKRFC does, but so he's like he looks like a fucking retard. He wants to mock other people. They're both fat. They're OKRFC is a fat. Sorry, OKRFC is a skinny loser. Nicholas Diorio is a fat loser. Okay, how many times do I have to say this before it gets to your thick fucking skull? Anyway.
Your thick fucking skull. How many times does Pepsi have to say this before you get it through your thick fucking skull?
I mean, I guess all your FC is going to gym. He still looks like shit. He still looks like a fucking nerd loser, okay? Anyway. Point being. So I don't care what they have to say. I don't care what they have to say about the gender stuff. But there are people who, even are, like, more sort of, willing to accept, I guess, generic like sexual explorations, but they don't really understand or respect the HB stuff. And for those people, I would say, I mean, it's fair now. It is like there's not like really any work on it or whatever. I'm just basing it on like what I've heard. People like not like what I've heard from so-called people who self-describe as HB. Basically, they seem to have like a very consistent description of it, which seems to fit Bowblax. What else do I have to say about this? And I mean, I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of, but some people say, oh, it is something to be ashamed of. And I mean, like, yeah, I guess sort of. But like, there's a lot of things to be ashamed of. There's all like weird sexual things people have. I mean, it's the issue maybe is that this one is more public, but it doesn't have to be. All right, like you can like, I mean, like with Smet, for example, he like cross-dresses with his like girlfriend. From what I understand, I mean, if you can have like a criticism of people doing like public fetish stuff, but it's like that isn't a necessary part of this whole ordeal regarding, the sort of behavior Bowblax is engaging in, and it's just. I don't know. Maybe at the end of the day, there is something to be said about like somebody's gender. It's like if you subscribe to the Vosh sort of notion that gender is like a completely social constructed thing we figure out, then you could argue that if you're an LGBT crossover, that does have an impact on your gender. Really, just you'd have to get into the weeds of what gender is, and I don't really care about any of that. I don't think it's a really useful analysis. Again,
wow.
Furthermore, The Sims 2 being mostly played by women is coincidence. He says this. Yeah, it is probably a coincidence, but it doesn't hurt. You know, I doubt that he would have gone on his Instagram account and played Sonic, because that's a more boyish game. That's what I think.
Yeah, this is Dragon.
Now, is that all I have to say about Bowblax? I think it's all I have to say to this comment. There is probably more detail I could go into about Bowblax's personal...
Yeah, I think that's it, to be honest. Okay. So.
Hey.
There were a couple more comments. So we've just watched coverage of the initial comment. Then Alex Gekmo says, what was the reason behind taking another non-binary person's photos without their permission, censoring their face, and posting them on your accounts? Doesn't seem like Bowblax has replied to that one. At PurplePepsiGaming, I don't think talking about this stuff on stream will solve anything or help me. In response to Pepsi asking him to come on. So Bowblax is turning down the Pepsi interview. Very sad. Very fucked up. Pulling the ladder up behind him. Running from the debate. So that's that story, I think. That's the Bowblax versus Pepsi drama.